Oh, we're back now with a preview of tonight's all-new Dateline and an exclusive interview with a woman at the center of a story that captivated the world.
Many may know Lori Vallow as Mommy Doomsday. She's the Idaho woman convicted of killing her 2 kids as well as conspiring to kill her husband's previous wife. So now she's in jail, about to go on trial for the murder of her 4th husband in Arizona.
And that's where Dateline's Keith Morrison caught up with her for her first television interview. We're going to talk with Keith in just a moment. But first, a preview.
When someone like convicted killer Lori Vallow agrees to an interview, there's no way around it, you wonder.
Hello, come on in.
Is giving attention to someone so notorious who loves the limelight so much a good thing? After all,
You're the most hated mom in America?
I heard that. And we all know what the media does. And they exaggerate everything, and they make stuff up, and they twist things around. So I don't know how it became what it is today. It's amazing to me. And I don't really know.
Are you misunderstood?
Absolutely. How do you know a person if you never talked to them in 5 years? How do you know anything about them? How do you know anything about their life? About how it really is?
5 years is how long Lori Vallow's life has been behind bars. She burst into the spotlight in early 2020 when the world learned that her 2 children, 16-year-old Tylee and 7-year-old JJ, had disappeared. Well, she lolled around in the sun in Hawaii.
Hey, Chad and Lori, it's Dateline. How are you?
With her newly married 5th husband, Chad Daybell.
There's a lot of people who are worried about your kids.
It was months after Dateline caught up with them when the bodies of the 2 children were found, buried in Chad's backyard. Investigators learned it was all part of a bizarre religious group led by Chad. The violence perpetrated, police say, by Lori's brother and so-called angel of death, Alex Cox. Lori is doing life in prison now. Chad is on death row. But questions remain about how the children were killed and who did what. Lori promised to tell us the truth. Would she?
Were you there the night that Tylee died? Were you there the night that JJ died?
Was where?
Alex in these places when they died? In the place where they died, were you there?
What place was that?
Did you watch?
What place was that? Do you have any idea?
I'm asking.
Well, I'm the
Doesn't
only
really
one that
matter.
knows. Do you know? You're pretending like you know.
It doesn't matter. I'm not pretending I know. I'm asking you a question. Did you watch your children die?
That's a really sad question.
It's a terrible question, and it's one I hate to have to ask, but I mean, we've been talking about all of these.
I was not there.
Wow. So, Keith, I know you've done some really crazy, wild interviews, but what was it like being in that room? And as the interview's unfolding, what are you thinking's going on?
Well, as she was being led from her cell to the room, little classroom that they gave us to do the interview, she winked at the camera, and that should have given us a clue what she was going to be like. But, you know, I'd wanted to talk to her for a while, in spite of the fact that, you know, do you really want to talk to somebody who killed her children? But she's a curious character, and I just didn't know what was driving her. And I had a whole bunch of stuff prepared I wanted to ask her about, but again, how do you prepare for chaos? She came in and she had her own agenda. She wanted to be the aggressor. She has decided to be her own attorney in this trial coming up for the murder of her husband, and she is so she's presented she's been in court several times. She's made representations, and I think she was practicing on me, you know, the kinds of questions that would be asked. Every time I'd ask her a question, she'd come back at me with, "How do you know that, Keith?" That sort of thing. It was,
she talked about so many outlandish things, from religious visions to her own theory about what happened to her kids. I mean, did you get a sense that she really believes those things, or is this all an act?
I think that she probably believes in the philosophies behind this Chad fellow's ideas about religion. What happened to her kids? Maybe she's made herself believe it, but And she wanted to fill that entire 90 minutes we had with a long, shaggy dog tale about how her daughter killed her son and then killed herself. And, you know, the authorities, the police who investigated this, know for a fact this is not possibly true. For one thing, they died 2 weeks apart. You know, so I tried to get her off that narrative and onto some of the issues some of the things that they knew happened, and she wasn't going there. So it was a very interesting little tennis match we had.
Wow. It's rare that we see you even a little flustered, Keith, and you are the master of this. So I cannot wait to see this interview.
Flustered is exactly what it was.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Keith. And you can catch a lot more of Keith's exclusive Jailhouse interview with Lori Vallow tonight on Dateline, 9 p.m., 8 Central on NBC. Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.